Gongo.
Olamma lived a very happy life with her parents in the village. They ensured she had everything: food, clothes, education, happiness. She was their only child, and they promised to do everything in their power to make her comfortable. They were not rich, but they were not poor either. The money they made from running a small farm was just enough for them to get by. Olamma, as long as we are alive, you are never going to lack, they always used to say to her as they affectionately pinch her cheeks and ruffle her hair. The day Olamma's parents died was the day her life took a different turn, but she didn't know it yet. When a group of downcast-looking people walked into their living room where she was doing her assignments, she knew trouble was awake and ready to pounce. Their tight smiles and over-cheerful voices couldn't hide the tragedy that was behind the sweet words. "Olamma, please sit down," her dad's best friend told her. She was fearing to hear the worst, that her parents were injured and in the hospital. She steeled her spine and strengthened her resolve. She would help her parents through these tough times, she thought to herself. "Everything happens for a reason," he started. "There is time for everything. A time to plant and a time to harvest, to come and to go. And the ancestors have decided that it's time for your parents to join them," he finished. Olamma screamed, a loud guttural sound. She was inconsolable. At 13, her parents died from a speeding vehicle while they were crossing the road. At 13, she became known as Olamma, the orphan girl. After the burial ceremony, Uncle Izu and his wife came to pick her up, to take her to their home in Lagos, where they promised to give her education and the very best things. When her parents were alive, she rarely saw Uncle Izu. He was her father's older brother who lives in the big city. Her memories of him were few but not bad, so she packed her bags and left with him towards her new life in Lagos. She was grateful for this because the village reminded her so much of her parents and the memories were too painful to bear. When they got to her uncle's house, Olamma was overcome by disbelief. She had heard that her uncle and his wife were rich, but she didn't know they were filthy rich. The mansion before her stood tall like a monument. There were many cars in the garage and many trees too. The water fountain looked so beautiful as its water gleamed in the afternoon sun. She would find out later that the butterflies she saw were from the garden at the back of the compound, the garden that eventually became her favorite place in the entire mansion. "Wow! Uncle Izu, your house is very beautiful," Olamma told him. Her parents told her it's always good to compliment people. He didn't reply. She decided to try again. "Uncle Izu, I said your house is very..." "Shut up your mouth! Shut up your poor, wretched mouth and go into the house," Uncle Izu snapped at her. She was taken aback by the venom in his tone and the hatred in his eyes. She was wondering how she could have missed that terrifying look. "Leave her be. She just came here. She's still going to learn her place here. The street urchin is talking about a beautiful house. What does she even know about beauty?" "Dakunab," Uncle Izu's wife said, placing her hand on her husband's shoulder. When they got into the living room, she wanted to compliment the beautiful Italian marble and well-crafted sofas made with original Nigerian leather. She also wanted to talk about the flat-screen television that was so wide. The one back at home wasn't wide or big. She wanted to talk about the chandelier and beautiful flowers in the vases, but she couldn't. She didn't want to do anything to make her uncle ever look at her with such hatred again. "Children, we are home," Uncle Izu announced in a very cheery voice. She wondered if he was the same man who just sounded so hateful a few moments ago. The children came down, all three of them, their faces matching those of the kids smiling in the framed photos on the walls. "This is your cousin Olamma, and she'll be staying with us from now on, you hear?" Auntie Lakunna said. The oldest of them, who appeared to be same age as Olamma, just looked at her uninterestedly and headed back upstairs. The other two were curious twins, and they stared at Olamma like she was a puzzle that they wanted to solve, but they eventually went back upstairs, not one of them saying hi, not one of them welcoming her. "If you are going to stay here, then you are going to have to earn it. No slouching, no laziness, no loudmouthedness. I'm going to bring a mat to you soon, and you'll be sleeping under the stairs close to the kitchen. You are not worthy of being in any bed I bought with my money. You will wake up very early in the mornings to clean the entire house, fetch water from the tap at the backyard, wash my children's clothes, sweep the entire compound, polish all the surfaces, and make sure you complete everything in time to make breakfast. I hope you understand everything I said," Uncle Izu asked. In all honesty, she didn't. She had never done such labor before. Even in the village, she had never had to go out of her bathroom in order to fetch water. She used to clean her own room and do the dishes. They also used to wash their clothes with a washing machine, not by hand. Now her uncle has just said he will give her a mat to sleep on under the stairs. She used to lay in a comfortable bed with soft beddings. Well, if this was the price she was going to have to pay, then so be it. Uncle Izu, I'll try my best to do everything that's expected of me, though it's something I've never done before. But, you didn't say anything about school. I'm supposed to be resuming SS1 next term, Olamma said. The moment was very quick. One moment he was on an armchair, the next he was standing over her, her cheeks burning from where his palm had collided with her skin. The slap was very painful. "Education, my foot! You will watch how you talk to us in this house. You think you can just demand for anything and it's yours? You think this is your parents' house? Go and wake them up from the dead if you want to demand, but not here, not in this house," her uncle said to her. "Now take that dirty bag of yours and walk down that way. You'll see a staircase. Stand there and wait for us. That will be your new quarters," he finished. Olamma walked toward where she was directed to, tears streaming down her face, wondering why life had to do this. For the next 2 years, Olamma spent all her time doing the chores around the house, cooking, cleaning, weeding the garden, and doing everything her uncle and auntie demanded of her. Their children were the absolute worst. They treated Olamma even worse than their parents. They were spoiled brats who couldn't see people that weren't as rich as they were as real people. She didn't watch TV with them. She didn't eat on the dining table. She only ate leftovers after they had all eaten to their fill. One day, a visitor came unannounced. It was someone from the village. When Olamma answered the door, the person looked terrified and shocked. He couldn't believe it was Olamma. She had lost a lot of weight and there were marks on her body. He asked about school, and she told him that she hasn't been going to school for the 2 years she had been with her uncle. When her uncle came downstairs, the visitor asked why Olamma wasn't in school, and the uncle cooked up a silly lie. After the visitor left, Uncle Izu and Auntie Akunna beat her together. "So you think you can tarnish our image, you evil girl? You want people to think that we are not treating you right, is that right? Is that it?" they asked as they beat her. Olamma cried and cried, wishing her parents didn't leave her alone. Her uncle enrolled her in a private school. It was not as good as the one their children attended, but it was a good school nonetheless. She knew he enrolled her not because he wanted to, but because of his reputation. He didn't want to be seen as a wicked man, even though he was. He didn't want people to know or think that he was. At school, Olamma was struggling to keep up due to the fact that she was overworked and underfed. "Auntie, please can I do less work during the day so I can focus on studying for school? My teacher said my performance is not encouraging," Olamma asked, afraid. Her auntie rolled her eyes at her and told her to get away from her sight before she loses her temper, so Olamma quickly ran away. Olamma worked tirelessly during the day, after school, and when the whole house was asleep. She would read and read, do her assignments, and make notes. Olamma was the best student in her class. She and her friend, Folake, had a friendly competition between them, but Olamma always took the first position. During break in school, Olamma and Folake were sitting under a tree and talking about how Chimamanda's Purple Hibiscus was their favorite book when their teacher walked up to them. "Olamma and Folake, I'm sure you guys heard about the scholarship. The exam is next Friday and it's free. So make sure you apply for it on time and do your best. I want you guys to win it. It's fully funded. If you get this, you're going to study your dream course in a university in Ireland. This opportunity is very rare, so take advantage of it," the teacher said. Olamma and Folake looked at each other, smiled, and nodded their heads. "Auntie, Uncle, good evening," Olamma greeted, even though she knew she wouldn't get any reply. "There's this scholarship my teacher told us about. I would like to apply for it and write the exam." Her uncle looked at her in shock. "Olamma, do you want to kill me? What do you think people will say about me? Do you want people to think my wife and I are poor? That we can't afford your education without help? Look, I'm in a good mood today, but if you repeat this nonsense under my roof again, I will make sure to deal with you mercilessly. Now get out!" Her uncle screamed at her. The next day, Folake asked her if she had applied for the exam and if she was preparing already. "I can't. My uncle and auntie demanded I don't, so I cannot do anything," Olamma said sadly. "That doesn't make sense. Don't worry, I will find a solution," Folake said reassuringly, hugging Olamma. When Folake's sister came back from the bank where she worked, Folake ran to her room to welcome her. After welcoming her, she told her everything she knew about Olamma, about how she always wears a sweater no matter how hot it is to hide the many marks on her body. She told her sister about how she only knew about the mark when she visited Olamma to borrow a note and saw her lying on a mat under the stairs. The story broke Folake's sister's heart, especially because she had gone through the same thing in the hands of her father's sister, Auntie Jumoke. She decided to take Olamma in because she saw herself in Olamma and remembered how hard she had to work to give Folake the life she has now. "Olamma, great news! You can apply for the scholarship. You know it ends tomorrow," Folake said happily. "I've already told you I can't. My uncle and auntie will kill me," Olamma said. They don't have to. You can come stay with my sister and I once the result is out and you pass." I told her everything, Olamma. "You deserve better. You are very talented and hardworking. You deserve this," Folake said. Olamma cried. Olamma cried tears of relief. She needed to hear those words to remind her of who she is. She and Folake applied for the scholarship and passed the exam. They were so excited. After school that day, she packed her one small bag of clothes and snuck out of the house before her uncle and auntie returned from work. The children were upstairs playing video games, so they didn't notice her presence or absence. They never really did, except when they want her to do something for them. She didn't exist to them. She met up with Folake at the gate of her estate and followed her home. She and Folake went on to study their dream courses at a university in Dublin, living life to the fullest, almost at the goal of becoming astrophysicists. Olamma was forever grateful for Folake and her sister Tolu. If not for them, she would never have had it in her to break free and have this opportunity. Their kindness reminded Olamma that though the world is filled with evil people like her uncle and auntie, there were still rays of sunshine like Folake and Tolu, and that warmed her heart. She knew her parents were smiling down and proud of her. She also now knew that there was nothing she couldn't do, and she would do it all.
Gongo.